I am a core Android user. I use Android to its core. I test more than 50 devices in a year and all of them are Android based. This year I tried living with the iPhone 12 mini, and in this video I'm going to share my experience because this time it was not only about adjusting to iOS, but it was also about adjusting to the size of the 12 mini. How was my experience? I'll talk about everything in this video. So without further delay, let's get started. I am so glad that Apple launched iPhone in such a small form factor, because now Android OEMs will obviously copy this and launch Android smartphones with flagship specifications in this form factor, and it is going to be exciting. And these lines will obviously make you understand that yes, I enjoyed the form factor of iPhone 12 mini. I am not really sure how, but I was able to adjust to iPhone 12 mini size very easily. I shifted from Mi 10T, which is a huge device in front of iPhone 12 mini, and then now I have shifted to Micromax in Note 1, which is another huge device. And even if I move now from Micromax Note in 1 to this device, I will still find it very easy to navigate through the UI. I found myself very comfortable with this size, and typing experience was obviously very good because I do not really type as such on the keyboard. I swipe, do the gesture thing to type because I use SwiftKey, and all my data from SwiftKey was restored over here, and it was very easy typing experience for me personally. So typing was not an issue for me. Plus when it comes to reading text, my eyes are good as of shooting this video, so I was able to look at the photos, text very easily. No issues over there, picking up calls, anything like that. I did not face any issue. Plus I was able to comfortably hold it in one hand and have a firm grip on the device, because if I'm using it in one hand, I can be firmly hold it and then do whatever I want to do. The only and one of the major scenarios where I felt that okay, the screen is too small was while watching movies on Netflix or watching YouTube content. I'm usually used to watching it on a bigger screen, because with a bigger screen you are going to get much more details, because you have a larger experience. With this smaller display, I was not really enjoying as such. It's an OLED display and all that stuff, but while watching movies, I enjoy watching it on a bigger screen. Let it be a bigger smartphone, TV, or a projector which can go up to 100 inches. So when it comes to size and using it in day-to-day life, I was able to adjust to it so easily, and I was so happy while using the device because everything was so easily accessible and everything was so fast as well. The device has iOS 14, and I am not really sure how, but I shifted from a 144Hz refresh rate display to a 60Hz refresh rate, and still I was able to adjust to it without hurting my eyes. I feel like this is not really a 60Hz display, probably it's a 75Hz display if someone can prove it scientifically, but the display looks so smooth. Obviously, even if you use iPhone 11, you will feel that the display is very smooth, but there is something with the iPhone 12 mini, or basically with all the iPhone 12 series of devices, that they feel much more smoother as compared to iPhone 11. Maybe it's a software trick that Apple has added, or maybe it's a slightly higher refresh rate display than 60Hz. But the display does feel very smooth. Obviously, A14 Bionic chipset with iOS optimization made the device perform really good. I was really happy with app opening times, multitasking experience, and multitasking experience was so good that the Kite application by Zerodha, which I close at let's say 4 p.m. and if I open it in the next day morning at 10 a.m., the app was running in the background and it said session expired. It did not reopen the application, and in that span of time, I must have opened 20-30 applications, 20-30 times moved out of multiple applications basically, and still it was running in the memory. So memory management on the iPhone 12 mini as well is crazy. Now let's talk about the display. OLED display on this device. As I said, size is something which bothered me, but when it comes to display quality, oh my god, A++ panel for sure. If you are okay with size, then watching Netflix content at full resolution of the device basically It looked so good in nighttime when all the lights were turned off and this was the only source of light for me. I enjoyed watching movies on this because of the display. The device supports single SIM card, single physical SIM card, Wi-Fi, VoLTE is supported. Obviously, call quality is great on this device. Apple is still having the same huge notch which was present in earlier generation of devices. Maybe they could have, like, obviously there is Face ID and all that. All other companies are moving into full screen displays and in display cameras. Then Apple will move to the dot camera and then they'll start using the camera for Face ID and all that stuff. One irritating thing with Face ID is that it cannot unlock your device with the mask on. There is no other way to unlock the device because there is no fingerprint sensor. Should I complain about that or not? Come on, Apple. Next generation at least add in-display fingerprint sensor. This device has OLED screen already. I did not talk about the charger yet. In my iPhone 11 video, I threw the charger saying that it's useless charger, and it is useless charger. Some of you commented almost a year back that don't throw the charger, Apple will remove it next year. And it happened, and Apple removed the charger by giving you USB Type-C to Lightning port inside the box itself. Now there is a person like me who bought iPhone 11, who has a charger of iPhone 11 which comes with USB Type-A port, and now you are giving me USB Type-C to Lightning port. How am I supposed to insert the Type-C cable inside the USB-A port? Tell me, Apple, how am I supposed to do that if I'm upgrading from iPhone 11 to 12 mini or iPhone 12? So we are saving the environment angle didn't really fit me completely. I'm not going to say that not adding chargers in the box is a bad step by any means, because it is going to be a good step in the long run, like in coming few years. But if you were going to do that, then at least give a Type-C port in your device, because I have hundreds of USB Type-C cables which I can use with the device if the device only had a USB Type-C port, but it comes with a Lightning port. As I mentioned earlier, I test a lot of devices. I have a lot of chargers in my house and only 2 or 3 of them had a USB Type-C port in the charger itself. I'm happy if you don't provide a charger in the box, but at least add a USB Type-C port which is easily available. And obviously, if just in case if you do not know, these Lightning ports have proprietary Lightning cables. You need to get certification from Apple, and each Lightning cable gives Apple $4. Yes, money boys, money, $4 each cable. MacBooks, iPads, HomePod series of devices, which are the latest ones, already have USB Type-C port. Then why not iPhone 12 series of devices? $4 per cable. Remember this number. Let's move on from the charger thing now. Let's talk about the charging time. I used the 18-watt fast charger, the Apple certified fast charger, and I was able to charge the iPhone 12 mini very quickly. I was happy about the charging time, never really had any complaints as such. But when it comes to battery life with the iPhone 12 mini, that's going to be a mystery, because this is where I cannot confidently say that you will be able to get through one single day no matter what you do, which I can do with a lot of Android devices, but not really with the iPhone 12 mini. Maybe you can say that with the iPhone 12 or maybe 12 Pro Max, but definitely not with the 12 mini. I was able to get 5 hours of screen on time as well on few occasions, but once again 5 hours of screen on time was not consistent. 4 hours to 4 hours and 30 minutes was something which I was able to get consistently. And most important thing, in this screen on time, the usage only included basic applications like Twitter, Facebook, or the day-to-day applications that we use, and multitasking between them, taking few photos here and there, taking couple of videos, and all this on Wi-Fi most of the times. Sometimes I was using 4G, and then the screen on time was a little bit lower than what Wi-Fi used to give me. But if you play games for an hour, then it is going to drain the battery quicker. If you use the device at more than 75% of brightness, then once again it is going to drain out the battery faster. And if you are someone who uses 4G only and uses the device at more than 75% brightness, then don't forget to carry a charger with you always, because you will have to charge the device at 3 p.m. if you start your day at 9 a.m. In my opinion. So it depends on your usage. If you only use Instagram, WhatsApp, then you will be able to get through one day. If you use more things, then you will need to carry a charger basically. Now, should you buy the iPhone 12 mini for its camera? Then absolutely. iPhone 12, 12 Pro, iPhone 12 mini, all of them have the same cameras when it comes to the primary and ultra wide angle camera. What? That's surprising. Basically, the major difference between iPhone 12 and 12 mini is battery, obviously, and then the size. Motherboard on iPhone 12 mini consists of everything which iPhone 12 has, but yet it has smaller form factor. This is the best engineering at work. at Apple, providing the same thing which iPhone 12 has in the iPhone 12 mini. Now when it comes to cameras, these are some of the sample shots that I clicked with the iPhone 12 mini, and there are much better photographers than me out there. And when it comes to camera experience as such, I was able to get my desired pictures every single time. The colors were on point, how they looked in real life, or even if they did not look how they looked in real life, I enjoyed the pictures from the iPhone 12 mini. Let it be selfies, let it be ultra wide angle shots, or let it be the primary camera. Not just that, when it comes to low light scenarios, the iPhone 12 mini did not disappoint. It performed really good over here as well, and I was happy with the iPhone 12 mini's camera performance, and everyone else was happy too. I mean, when I went to my friend's engagement, I mean, everyone is getting married and all that stuff, I used the iPhone 12 mini to click my friend's picture, and they were happy with the iPhone 12 mini's output. And when your friends say, yeah, this is the best pic, when you click it only once, that means that the camera does perform good. I mean, assuming they give the same pose every single time. Basically what I want to say, camera will not disappoint you. Not just that, but if you use Instagram stories a lot, or you use Snapchat a lot, then iPhone 12 mini's camera will give you the best output possible. One of my friends moved from iPhone 7 something to OnePlus Nord, and she was disappointed with OnePlus Nord's Snapchat performance. I was like, obviously it's an Android device, it is not going to perform it is not going to perform that good. But when it comes to low light scenarios, in some cases where there are multiple lights like this, you get these lines which is surprising. And this also happens with iPhone 12 Pro, and I have seen few Android devices doing it, but few Android devices do not do that. So something to keep in mind. Basically, as I have 12 mini, I will use 12 mini as my secondary camera angle, and oh my god, fantastic details, great quality, and it doesn't even stop 4K 30 FPS recording in just like 10 minutes or something like that. It continues recording for a very long time. But when it comes to files which are bigger than 4 GB, you cannot really move them into a Windows PC without using iTunes. Oh my god, let's not go there, man. I shot a 4K 30 FPS video which was about 6 GB in size, and I was not able to see that video in the file explorer when I connected this phone to my PC. Oh my god, so irritating. I had to upload it to Drive, then download it via Drive, because without iTunes it is impossible. I have to save files into this, that. There are so many things that I have to do. Why can't you just use a simple file explorer, like just connect it to Windows PC and everything will show up, and then I can copy it? Do that now. iOS 14 2020 it is. Come on. And I guess that's it for the review of iPhone 12 mini. There is always this question, whether it's size of the boat or motion of the ocean. After using the iPhone 12 mini, I am going to say it's the motion of the ocean. With its great OLED panel, fantastic camera setup, amazing performance, and this form factor is so good to use, relieving in a way. And that's why I enjoyed using the iPhone 12 mini. I mentioned all my experience in this review video basically. So I hope you have watched that, so that you can decide whether you should go with the iPhone 12 mini or not. And I guess that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you want to watch more awesome content like this. If you still have any more doubts, suggestions or queries regarding the iPhone 12 mini or this video, do let me know about that in the comment section box below, or you can tweet it to me at @DerekTheHunja_tech. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for watching.